Welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm going to be doing another tour of the massive game room that I looked at probably about 2 years ago. I think was when I put out that video. And if you want to learn more about who the person is and you know, I'll leave a link down below because I get a little bit more into detail. So this video is kind of like an update as his collection has grown. And in my previous video, he really just sent me some photos. So this time he actually sent me a video. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch the video and kind of, you know, give my reaction and some of my input on what we're looking at. Now, this is just the first video because he sent just one room. He's got about 2, maybe 3 game rooms. I can't remember now. He's got a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff. And this is Stacy Burns we're talking about. He runs the Console Purist Facebook group. If you're not familiar with that, check it out. Just go onto Facebook, type in Console Purist in the search, and you'll find it. It's a really big gaming group. So a lot of talk about you know, modern consoles and retro consoles. And of course, I share my videos on that group as well. So check it out. Anyways, yeah. So we're gonna dive into this huge cave of video game nostalgia, both modern and retro. We're going to start off with the Xbox room, and probably the next video we'll dive into some of the other rooms after I get the video. Anyways, let's check it out. Okay, so we got the video booted up now. Let's check the room tour. So this is the Xbox, or what he calls the Xbox room. Hence the big Xbox on the door. Now, I know there's more than just Xbox stuff in there, so I think it's just the way he labels it. And so he's showing off a lot of his posters here. I believe a lot of this came from I'd say it was a GameStop he said he got them from. So it was like closing, and I guess they were getting rid of stuff. That would have been great, though, I mean, you know, to be there when a video game store is closing, to be able to pick up a lot of their stuff before they end up trashing it. I've heard a lot of the stories of that happening where the game store kind of shuts down and a lot of their excess stuff just gets, you know, thrown out into the dumpster. Okay, so these are all his boxed retro games, and yeah, there's a ton of games. I mean, this is just wall-to-wall shelving of games and peripherals, and just, you pretty much name it, it's in there. So there's 9,069 games here that he's actually told me, and over 270 consoles, which is a heck of a lot. There's just so much it barely even fits into the frame, but yeah, that's okay. Now, I'm recognizing a lot of systems right there. A lot of these are Pong consoles and Atari stuff. A lot of Atari things in there. I noticed there's like the Atari 400 and the Atari 800 sitting right there. And he's showing us Hyperscan. I've never heard of that. I don't know what exactly it is, but he kind of mentioned that. And he's got some Xbox stuff in there, boxed. It's funny seeing the Atari keyboard controllers just sitting there randomly. That's pretty cool. Interactive Vision. I don't know what that is either. I've never heard of that. And I remember that Super Mario Brothers cereal when that came out, and people were grabbing those boxes by the bulk, trying to get some code and stuff. I don't know. I just remember people were going crazy over it. Now this is cool. He's got these binders here to log everything in. Like, he's got everything logged in, everything that he's collected in here, all the titles and the receipts for purchasing, which is crazy. I mean, that's how he can keep track of everything he's got and how much his collection is worth. Because I'd have to go through everything just to do that. Like, I'd have to like go in. I don't even remember how much I paid for most of my stuff. So again, he's got more console boxes. These are like the Xbox One. A lot of these are like, some of them are empty boxes, I believe he said, which is pretty cool. You know, just to put it on display. And
we got some funky Pac-Man looking toys here, and Mario sitting in the corner beside a Super Nintendo. And an Intellivision too, which is neat. So here we're looking again at the Pong consoles, the Ataris. You can see there's a Atari Gemini right there. I can tell that. A lot of these Pong consoles, I mean, there's just so many Pong consoles. It's hard to, you know, that looks like an Atari XE right there, computer. Just so many Pong consoles. I believe in the 80s we were drowning in Pong consoles. Probably in the late 70s, early 80s. Like, there were just so many, and they have that totally retro look to them. I love that thing too, that I think it's a Telstar or something. It's got like a gun and a steering wheel and all that stuff. There's more Magnavox. Now that's a funky color for a console right there. And right here we're looking at an Atari 2800, which is interesting because it looks like the Atari 7800, but it's only plays Atari 2600 games, so you gotta be careful when you find one of those. It's not a 7800, it looks like one. And we got a couple more of these Pong consoles, and there's an Atari 2600 Junior. That was my first Atari that I actually owned. That's a Tandy Vision, that's all Intellivision right there. That's the Intellivision 2, I guess it's out of the box, and there's an Intellivision 3, which I think they're pretty rare actually, those Intellivision 3. I don't think they made too many of them. So we're just looking at like some controllers, all various, these would be like the 9-pin plug, I believe, for the Atari 2600 or your Commodore 64. Although just different kinds. I remember going into the store all the time and seeing various joysticks that you could buy for your Atari, and some of these I actually recognize. I actually had a few of those, like that one there in the back with the gray base. I remember liking that one, although it swiveled. It was kind of a weird one. It swiveled. And he's got a ton of light guns, that's for sure. He got really fixated on getting light guns for the different systems. I like those ones where they look like the old, you know, the old style gun. And he's got a Famicom and a Famicom disk drive. That's cool. Panasonic. And he's got a Sega Master System 2. I'm not too familiar with that. Don't know too much about that one. And there's a Jaguar, the Atari CD Jaguar, which I always thought kind of looked like a toilet seat. There's a Toshiba. I'm not sure about that either. There's just so many different kinds of consoles in this collection that, I mean, he knows them all. He's got them all down, but. And here's some more Pong consoles. So over here we got some like the action figures, like Rampage there, and all various Nintendo. All in box, I guess, never been opened. And this is a collection he did of a Halo challenge that he said he did. He did tons and tons of recordings of it as well, where he was actually recording his gameplay for Halo. And he's also got a ton of recordings of himself playing games, so... I mean, that was the way we did it in the past, right? You had to record everything onto VHS. We didn't have capture cards and all that stuff to easily record onto a computer kind of thing. So now we got the couple of Pong consoles in the box, ColecoVision in box. got his Famicom. You know, I've always wanted to grab one of the ColecoVisions in box. I've seen them in stores a few times, in retro gaming stores. But I have a ColecoVision, so it's just like, you know, just kind of be an extra thing for me. So these are all his duplicates that he's, you know, all the loose carts that he had to kind of stack up and put away. So there's tons of Atari, tons of Super Nintendo, it looks like, and television. Because oftentimes when you're trying to collect things, you end up buying, like, lots and lots of them, like collections and stuff, just to get that one cart that you're missing. These are some more of his boxed, looks like Game Boy there. You know, tons of handhelds. Microvision, that's an interesting thing. I've seen that a few times in a few different videos. It was like the first Game Boy almost. And of course he's got more consoles, more Telstars, all those different driving things. I remember those when I was a kid. There's like a TurboGrafx 16 sitting there. Now we're looking at, looks like some Intellivision, and Sega Genesis. A lot of Sega Genesis stuff. That's a lot of games. He's got every single game there. Got 2 rows of Sega Genesis right there. Yeah, we're getting into some Arcadia games. Again, that's a system I'm not too familiar with. PSP stuff. These are all like Atari, Intellivision. Kind of tell the difference in the boxes. A lot of them do look the same though. I mean, like, it's hard to sometimes tell them apart in the distance anyway. All factory sealed stuff on this shelf, which is cool. I mean, I don't think I have any game that's still sealed, factory sealed. Got some, looks like Zelda and Castlevania and Return of the Jedi, Aladdin, Clue? Harvest Moon for the 64, factory sealed as well. Got a football game in there. Saturn, a lot of Sega Saturn games, and Sega CD. And these are all factory sealed, like these were have not been opened, like literally right off the shelf. Here's some more factory sealed stuff. It's Game Gear stuff, oh, that's pretty cool. He's got 26 complete libraries of games in this collection as well. So this is his TV that he plays a lot of them on. It's a Samsung TV, I believe, 1080p. You can see all the different consoles he's got set up down there. So here's the in-boxed Super Nintendo and Nintendo games he's got. Kind of like the opposite shelf where the Genesis were. See, that's what I mean, like he calls it the Xbox room, but there's a lot of everything in here. Well, these are all in box. Again, I mean, I have a few boxes, but not even close. I remember keeping some of my Nintendo boxes. Only certain games I kept, and Super Nintendo boxes. I didn't buy. I think I bought a lot of used, so I didn't always get them in boxes. There's a lot of Sega CD there. he's got the entire library of the Sega CD32X, which is interesting. So these are all the TurboGrafx 16. So over here, it looks like we have the Odyssey 2. Again, a system I've always been kind of interested in. I remember seeing one store had one for sale, but they wanted like way too much for my liking. We got more 32X games over here. PS1 games. So here's the Jaguar CD games. He said he's got every single one of them, so that's pretty impressive. And there's some more in-box Jaguar games. Here's a lot more stuff to look at over here. A lot of boxed stuff as well. There's a couple of Atari 800 games. Again, you know, those are getting harder and harder to come by. Even just finding loose copies of those things. I'm finding it anyways. I'm not finding a lot of them. So there's a factory sealed Sega Genesis 3 and a lot of factory sealed power supplies. Those are pretty critical when it comes to gaming as well. I mean, without your power supply, you got no system. Well, this is Sega Activator. A lot of accessories for the Sega. Got a little Pac-Man collection going on here. I've seen a bunch of those, like especially that weird rounded handheld device there. That's a plug and play, and he's got looks like one of the Christmas ornaments. The old Pac-Man mug. All different kinds of Pac-Man stuff. Even a lunchbox. That's the Atari 5200 trackball. Those things are pretty cool too. I have one for the ColecoVision. 2600 box. Oh, there's E.T. Gotta have E.T. when you talk about Atari. APF TV Fun. You know it's fun if it has fun on the box. There's a GameCube in box. Here's a Halo collection he's got. He's a big Halo fan, so hence his collection of Halo games and his little challenge that he was doing. And this is Xbox Magazine, which was like the first edition of it, or the first one to come out. Kind of neat. Here's some random Nintendo accessories, like the NES Advantage, or NES Advantage if you want to call it that, the Power Glove. I didn't realize there were so many different controllers for the Nintendo. But I guess a lot of it was third-party stuff. And this is just another overview of the shelving and the giant Ninja Turtle in the corner.
So as you can see, big game room, lots of stuff. I mean, wall to wall. I mean, I just got this. That's my collection of video games. And these are, you know, just personal stuff. A lot of my favorites, mostly Atari and Nintendo. And I don't have a whole lot of stuff in box, or I don't think I have anything sealed. So it's kind of cool seeing all that. I mean, it's just unreal the amount of stuff that he has in his collection. And you know I've spoke to him a few times about, you know, what's his plans for the future. What is this a museum or what? I mean, a lot of it's just personal to him. He just wanted to collect these things. It's just his collection. But anyways, yeah, that was really fun. It was really great of him to send me that footage of his game room. And, you know, I look forward to doing another video. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 more videos or 1 more video, but I'm definitely going to look at the rest of his stuff coming up probably in, you know, a few weeks or months or whenever I get around to it. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Throw some comments down below. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.